So welcome back to Favorite Friday. For the last channel for this week, we are going back to Massachusetts. This particular case has actually gained some nationwide coverage and apparently some little international coverage. For this particular case, our victim had been found and had not been identified for a good minute, and so was known in the media as Baby Doe. So if you lived in Massachusetts or you remember when Baby Doe had been found but not yet identified, definitely let me know. Like I said, if you know anybody involved in the case, just like in the other cases, definitely let me know that as well. And so with that being said, I'm quitting rambling and let's go and get started. So we're going to start off with Bella. So Bella Nevaeh Amorio Bond was born August 6, 2012 to Rochelle Bond and Joe Amorzio. So Rochelle was basically born in 1975, and I guess she had been in and out of prison because it said she had at least 34 different charges for different things that she'd been charged with since like 1994. Bella actually had two older siblings, but apparently they were taken away after it was deemed that Rochelle didn't have like the proper means to raise them essentially, and they were taken away back in 2001, 2006. And then apparently she would get arrested at least twice in 2010 and 2011 for doing prostitution and drugs. So then, like I said, Bella being born in August of 2012 means she was conceived sometime in late 2011. So apparently in late 2011, that's where she meets Joe. Both of them are apparently homeless. They're staying at the same shelter. And apparently Bella was conceived in a homeless shelter tent that they were staying at, according to Joe. So then apparently, before Bella's even born, Joe would apparently like just dip. And then Rochelle basically was arrested for violating parole because she was on parole at the time. And then basically her lawyer said it was better that you go to rehab because I guess she was doing drugs instead of just going to prison. I guess Joe apparently had realized early on, I guess had found out that like Rochelle's previous kids had been taken away. He actually tried to call social services and saying that Rochelle's actually not a fit parent, but the charges would be dropped. Rochelle would actually try to sober up, so no more drugs, no more drinking, none of that, to basically be a better parent for Bella at first. And then I guess at first she was supervised, considering like her history, understandably, but supervision would apparently stop in 2013. So then Rochelle apparently would get a place with Bella now as a single parent, I guess, and she would have friends come over to stay, some who were homeless, so obviously they needed a place to stay. Apparently, Rochelle had a friend named Sharon, who apparently she would drink a lot, but apparently Sharon would actually later come out and say that Bella got her to stop drinking unintentionally. By essentially, obviously, she's essentially a drunk, so she always has a bottle near her. And then Bella, being the curious child she was, she would try to reach for the bottle, not knowing exactly what it was. And so I guess this triggered something in Sharon to get her to stop drinking. But then unfortunately, Shannon and Rochelle, unfortunately, was stopped talking in like October 2014. So then in early 2015, this is where she meets Michael McCarthy. Apparently, McCarthy, he was apparently born in 1980. Rochelle was apparently prescribed Suboxone, but instead of like taking it to help with withdrawal symptoms, because I said she was doing drugs, and apparently withdrawal symptoms are like not pretty, and apparently this drug was supposed to help with said withdrawal symptoms. She was selling it instead, obviously to get money, and so then her and Michael would start dating, and then pretty shortly after, she apparently would get him to move in. Apparently at one point, it doesn't say when, but apparently his mom had actually died at one point, and so then he starts doing drugs, I guess like to cope with the death of his mom. So then he's into like the occult and like demons and stuff like that. And so of course now that he's moved in with Rochelle and Bella, he apparently would actually punish Bella and actually put her in a closet if she did not agree that she had a demon inside. And apparently one night, doesn't specify when, apparently Bella, I guess like the days were like jumbled together because when you're doing drugs, like I guess the days are just crunched together. Rochelle would apparently ask Bella to go to bed. Bella apparently didn't want to go to bed, which makes sense because she was a toddler. And she went to Rochelle, her mom, for comfort. Rochelle basically asked Michael, hey, can you go put Bella up? Because she wasn't feeling like dealing with her own daughter. So she would claim that I went and walked into the room to check on my daughter, and I walked in, and Michael was over there punching the shit out of 2-year-old Bella. So then, of course, she claims that she asked Michael why he was doing it, and that he allegedly claimed that it was her time to go. She was a demon. She then says after that point, Michael had apparently grabbed her and started choking her to the point, and then the last thing she remembers before she passed out was Michael trying to inject something into her neck. So then, of course, she passes out, and then she wakes up to Michael trying to dispose of Bella's body. Then on June 25th, 2015, a woman would find Bella's body on Deers Island. She was named Baby Doe because they didn't know who she was at first. Her autopsy would apparently have been done July 3rd, but actual cause of death could not be found at the time. And so then a sketch was actually released to the public to try to figure out whose child this was. And was the parents potentially dead too from like foul play on them too. So apparently there were at least like 20 other girls who apparently looked like Bella and were around her age at the time of her death. So they all go check on those 20 little girls, and all of them were luckily to be found safe and alive. The police start having theories that maybe it's not just the girl that's dead, maybe it's the rest of the family that's dead, or maybe somehow they don't know that their little girl is dead because maybe they were with people they trusted, or that this girl is actually is a relative of illegal immigrants. And of course, if you're an illegal immigrant, they're not going to tell the police that, hey, our child's dead because we ain't trying to get deported. So the neighbors, it doesn't say whether they knew about Baby Doe at this point, even though she was, getting pretty much a lot of coverage at this point, and rightfully so. They were asking about what was going on with Bella, and she was saying, oh, social services took her. When Joe, the father, had finally decided to pop up after his daughter's dead, Rochelle tells him that she is with family. Doesn't specify what family, because I guess she knew he was going to go check, but she just said she's with family. So in September 2015, Michael would apparently go to in hospital for abscess due to, I guess essentially he took a bunch of drugs, and he had abscess in his body because of this, and so obviously you gotta go get that treated or you're going to die. So then Rochelle apparently calls another man named Michael. So Michael, we're going to call him Michael too, because I don't know his last name. She eventually calls him and tells him everything that went down after he asked what happened to Bella. So then Michael too tells his own sister. His sister calls police. And then Michael too asks, Michael McCartney, was this true? And then Michael says, apparently, and I quote, who are you going to believe, me or a cracked out hooker? The cracked out hooker being Rochelle. So then, like I said, Michael too's sister called the police. So the police show up to Rochelle's house. How they got her address, I guess Michael was friends with Rochelle and gave them the address. It didn't specify. They get to her house, and Rochelle had apparently snuck out a back window before they could even get in. She goes to Joe and confesses to him that, hey, I done killed our daughter. They proceed to smoke a bag of heroin together. They stay at his mom's house, and then they slept the night there, but then Rochelle proceeds to turn herself in to police the next day. So something a little interesting. Apparently, she was actually getting welfare benefits since she had custody of Bella. And since Bella's dead, you're not supposed to be getting those welfare benefits anymore. Since, the child that the whole reason why you even get the benefits is no longer with us. So, of course, she gets charged with accessory after the fact and taking welfare benefits after Bella died, essentially. So, I guess fraud, that's what this is considered. In exchange for testifying as Michael, because apparently there was no physical evidence proving that she was involved whatsoever, she gets credit for time already served and has spent 2 years probation. Keep in mind, this was 2015, which is I feel old even saying this, 9 years ago. So unless she's in jail for some other stuff, she out and about and probably still alive because I ain't seen no obituary on her yet. So now, of course, Michael's thrown on the bus because apparently most of the physical evidence has come back to him. So then he's saying, oh, well, Bella actually died from accidentally taking some of her mom's medication because she was subscribed to some stuff. And then he tried to say, well, I didn't even know Bella was even dead. So at one point, Rochelle's credibility was actually questioned because apparently she was telling a different story at the trial than what she had told the police. So then Michael would actually get sentenced to life on involuntary manslaughter charges, and apparently is eligible for parole in 2037. So then he would appeal in November 2020, basically saying he was wrongfully convicted. I checked the records, and it seems like he's still there, so obviously that didn't work. That's pretty much the last thing I have on Michael. Rochelle, however, then after serving time served in jail already and 2 years probation for assisting in the murder of her daughter, she apparently in 2018 actually gets tested positive for weed and cocaine, which you're not supposed to be taking either. So essentially failed her drug test, which is part of her probation, and apparently missed court meetings, which apparently is also part of probation. And I say also because I've never been on probation, so I don't know this. And apparently her punishment was just to have extra probation added. So essentially that's the case of Baby Doe. Let me know what you think down below. Do you definitely think that Rochelle Bond essentially got away with murder, considering that she's out and Mike wants to spend the rest of his life? Do you think that Joe could definitely have stepped up, before Bella had died? Because, he's doing all this stuff and what should happen to Rochelle, understandably, but this wasn't until after he had died, when he wasn't exactly the best father either. Always just, it's kind of a tragic mess all around because it's a 2-year-old girl that's still dead regardless, that she could have had a better life just like her living siblings had, wherever they're at now. And so with that being said, definitely leave your thoughts down below. I'm here for you guys every Friday, 3 times every Friday. Subscribe for females. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there they're gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I deluded? I'm the one who's always sorry, the conclusion. Even though I offer all of the solutions. I wish you loved me like I love you, it's stupid. When I'm alone with you I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you I knew this. When I'm with you I feel so useless. I feel